There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything.
That power that can make a way out of no way.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
Welcome everybody to the Prayer Revolution. So glad that you guys are here. All of our live Zoom crew, all those joining us on Facebook, all those listening out in podcast land. So glad that you're here with us. My name is Doyal, and I'm with my good friend Vira, and we are here to say a prayer. We say a prayer every morning, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then we discuss that prayer in the mood of prayer in our daily lives. And so, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of the crew. And Vera, would you like to just lead us in a prayer?
You just said agreed that you were going to, but you may have missed it. But
is that what you and Bhakti-yoga came up with?
Well, you know what? He's definitely inspiring me for sure. He's inspiring me to hear, to listen. And if you're feeling inspired, no pressure. Would love to hear your heart this morning.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys being here. You can go ahead and close your eyes and just take a moment to breathe deep a few times. So often we engage in conversations with another, but we're not really present. Even when we're speaking, sometimes we're sharing words, but we're not really conveying our heart because our mind or our heart may be somewhere else. And so prayer is a dialogue, it's a conversation. And so I invite you guys to get a little quiet, take a few breaths, maybe close your eyes, stop whatever you're doing. God, you know me better than anybody else. You know the things that I may hide from other people, that I may be embarrassed to show other people. You know the things that I'm striving for in my life, and you know what it means for me to find genuine contentment, peace, serenity, fulfillment, wholeness. And you know that all the things that I'm doing in my life to try to bring those things in my life are external. And I pray that you give me courage, give me insight, give me confidence and faith to let all of those external rat races go. And that you give me the clarity to understand that those things aren't going to give me what I'm looking for. That you start to direct my consciousness inwards, that you start to direct my consciousness towards you, that you start to direct my thoughts, my words, and my activities towards you. Srila Prabhupada said that the path of Krishna consciousness is simple, but the application is very difficult. So please give me the strength as I try to apply these simple principles in my life, bringing myself to you. And we pray every day your holy names through the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How you doing, Veer?
Grateful. Just wanted to stay with my eyes closed and hands folded for a few more minutes. So refreshing. Recharging the battery.
Yeah. It's so incredible when I think about how much energy I put towards exhausting myself in things that aren't going to give me what I'm looking for anyways. But the familiar, we lean towards the familiar even if it's not favorable to what we're trying to do. So, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Where's your heart at this point of year?
Comes like a habit. You know, it's so interesting. I see this guy drive by. He's a sweet old African American guy. See him drive by, I mean, at least, you know, half a dozen times a day in my office. And I was just trying to figure out, I was like, what is this like modified school bus? It's like this blue, you know, blue trim, white school bus, huge old school bus driving by so many times a day. I was like, it's like a special bus service. Like, what's going on? And yesterday when I was walking by, I was crossing the street, I saw the bus coming and I just kind of paused and just like checked it out. This old friendly old guy, just like waving. I thought like, man, if I put my thumb out, he'd pick me up. You know, he's just like super friendly old guy. And it's filled with watermelons, just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of watermelons. And somehow he's doing like a little route where he's picking up the watermelons, bringing them into town. I'm not sure what he's doing exactly, but yeah, just seeing, you know, yesterday we were talking about habits, and then today I was walking down, and you know, I was like, okay, all right, I'm coming to the street. Am I going to see my friend? And then just before the street, somebody else pulled up next to me. A car stops, and it's an old buddy of mine, and you know, we're chatting for a minute, and just, you know, and then I didn't see my friend, so I don't know if that threw, you know, whatever, if that was a little gap, but it's just perfect, you know, each moment. I'm going to ramble just a little bit here. It's coming to something, just sharing a little update. And then yesterday, an electrician came over to our house, and the analogy that he used, because he's a Bhakti practitioner, a very deep spiritualist, and wonderful person from Brazil, and he, you know, so he's looking at, he's like, wow, this is a really old house. He's like, I'm not so familiar with the old electrical mapping. I have to study it a little bit. And then he said, you know, and then we just started having a conversation. And he said, you know, I see, he's talking about a family member saying that they have everything in their life. It's like they literally have everything. They're beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship. You know, they're pursuing their dreams. They have, you know, financial, you know, stability and security, and it's continuing to grow. They're healthy. They're really loving toward each other. Have a beautiful family, home. Like everything is like, and I look at their life. It said, but they just separated. There was just like an abrupt ending to their marriage. And he said, you know, when he's talking to the wife, who was kind of taken by surprise with it, because the husband decided to step back from the marriage. And in conversations with her, you know, she just said, the only thing that I can think of is that, I mean, literally we have everything, but we just, you know, God was just kind of like this like thing that we did in our life. It was kind of like, okay, we garden, and like, you know, we connect to God, and we take the kids to school. It was like just a part, it was like this little, you know, subsection bullet point, you know, in their life. And she said that, you know, we really didn't have something that brought us both together. You know, we were doing all these different things in our life, but there wasn't something that at the center that kind of we were able to gravitate around. And so, you know, and then he gave the analogies in construction. He said, just like the house, he said, you know, I could build the most beautiful house, and I could do all the plumbing work. I could do everything. I could make the most incredible. He's like, and I have so much, like he could see, like he's really like healthy pride about the way that he builds. He builds with like a lot of quality, a lot of intention, a lot of focus. And he said, and I could do all the plumbing perfect, and the whole house is perfect. And then, okay, and then I give you the house. But if I don't connect the plumbing to the water source, then when you turn those faucets on, nothing's going to come through. If I don't connect the electricity to the electrical source, like the house is almost useless. Some function is there, but it's almost becomes like really missing the essence. And he just compared that. He just said, you know, if we're not connecting with God, if God's not the center of our life, then we're disconnected. We're disconnected from that energy source. We're disconnected from that catalyst that really brings us together at the deepest level, that really, you know, takes our relationships from the superficial and the material, and actually our relationships become something that helps us discover our true nature, our true self, and our connection with God. And so that was a little lesson, a little lesson from yesterday that I wanted to share with you guys. And And just how the power of analogy also. I just find that, analogies stick with me so much more than just like philosophical points. Stories stick with me so much more than just like dry philosophy, and it can be powerful, but like where it really starts to etch into my psyche is like a story that moved my heart, or an analogy that just makes so much sense and just puts all the pieces together in a real life scenario. And so that's what we're here for every single day. It's a reminder that everything that we do materially in our life, and it's such a perfect example, this beautiful house, every material element of it is perfectly done. But when it's not connected to the sources of energy, when it's not connected to that it loses its value, that it doesn't have the same value. And so, yeah, so like that, to look at our life and to see everything that we're doing is a great gift that's meant to support ultimately that connection. Everything in our life, our relationships are meant to support it, the way we eat, our lifestyle, our work, every element of our life is meant to be actually this supportive element for us to reconnect and to receive that energy in our life. And when we receive that energy, our heart overflows with it. That's where we start to feel that, breaking through the lethargies or the depressions or the anxieties or the fears. We start to break through that, and we feel this we have a full well that we're ready to distribute. We're ready to share that overflowing energy. And that takes receiving that source of energy in a substantial way, really plugging in that faucet, plugging in that electrical, plugging into that electrical outlet, that source of energy, and letting our battery charge, letting the well fill up, and the what comes from that automatically, is an expression of all those qualities that we're seeking, like you were talking about in your prayer, Doyle. Everything we're seeking outside of ourselves, that we know deep down inside, we know that it's not an external solution. We know that. We've tried so many things. It's not an external solution. It really is, going in and purifying our hearts and our consciousness, clearing away the rubble, right? And then after the rubble is cleared away, then we clear, then let's get out the rags and the mops, and let's clean the mirror. Let's clean up that internal temple of our heart. Let's cleanse it so that we can see ourselves again. We can experience ourselves, experience God. It's with the self. It's with us in our heart. So lessons from a plumber, and it stuck with me yesterday. It's an analogy that I've heard different times, and it just, it's like always. It's always perfect. It's always a perfect analogy to remember, where am I plugging in? Like, I plugged my phone in for 5 minutes. Okay, well, yeah, it's only going to have a 5% charge. It's not going to last us the whole day, But no, I sat down and I plugged in for an hour. I plugged in for 20 minutes. I plugged in. I really gave myself that experience of being recharged, of knowing where's my energy source, of knowing where do I draw that energy from. And so in Bhakti, there are different ways that we draw that energy: through prayer, through chanting God's names, through acts of selfless service, even just through remembering the qualities, remembering the different stories of the divine, many different ways that we plug into that energetic source. And for ourselves, what is that energetic source? And anytime I'm feeling dried out, anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, anytime I'm feeling disconnected, anytime, whatever it is, to be able to come back to the well, to draw that water, to draw that spiritual energy, come back to the electrical source and plug back in and give ourselves that. And if we don't know where that is, or we're not feeling that charge, to just take that inventory, to take the time to actually look at that and say, what's going on with my connection? Maybe I'm plugging, maybe I'm screwing the hose into the source, but I'm putting a clamp on it on the other side. I'm not feeling the water flowing through, So maybe there's a, I'm not actually allowing for that energy to flow in my life. What's blocking that energy, or what's stopping me from plugging in? And I feel like just those two questions, what's stopping me from plugging in a way that I feel completely satiated and satisfied and connected? What's stopping me from doing that? And then also, wow, hey, you know what, Vira, I'm sitting down, but I'm really still not feeling it though. I'm sitting down and meditating, I'm sitting down and praying, but okay, so then what's going on with our mindset? What's stopping us from actually, it's like taking a shower, but having the shower curtain on, right? It's like, what's stopping us from actually experiencing the cleanse of the water, the refreshment of the water? What's stopping us in our lifestyle from experiencing that? So that's the question I'm asking myself, and so I'm presenting it to all you guys as food for thought.
What kind of answers are you getting?
Well, what I'm getting in my life right now is it's really I have a tendency to really go external with things, and I do have an internal life for sure, an internal spiritual practice. I do have that, no question about it. And at the same time, like I'm ready to like shift into like the external gear like that, and to make life about the external. Really, I'm really quick to do that. And so at this time in my life, I'm pausing to go inside, and I'm finding that, okay, like I've taken certain feelings and certain thoughts and certain beliefs unconsciously. I've taken them throughout my life. I've carried them throughout my life. And whether I'm the executive director of the Bhakti Center, or I'm a dad, or I'm a business owner, or whatever label I put on it, whatever external kind of success that I've experienced, I still carry all that stuff with me. I still carry the self-doubts. I still carry the limiting beliefs. I still carry the different parts of my psychology, of my conditioning. I carry them with me. And so taking a little bit of time to actually just to go inside, taking a little bit of time to go inside and to really, really nourish myself spiritually, really give myself completely to my prayer practice, to my, reading, to my meditation practice, not to just do it, not to just go through the motions of it, but to really refine it, to really see, how when I am chanting God's names, that I'm moving more and more deeper and deeper into presence with those divine names, not thinking about all the other things I got to do, or getting overwhelmed with a feeling of whatever it may be, of not doing something, or not being enough, as I am right now. Just like being able to let that go, and being able to actually be okay with myself, like to just be like, you know what, it's all good, bud. You're right where God wants you, and this moment right now is perfect. This moment right now, it could not be any other way. Your life couldn't have unfolded any other way. You're perfectly right where you're supposed to be, and now you just have another opportunity just to either accept that or reject it. And so I'm attempting to accept that. It's not easy, for sure. I'm asking to clear out the weeds from my heart, so those feelings come up, and those limiting beliefs that even are completely unconscious, that I could just distract myself from throughout my life, that end up driving me, that end up being this thrust that push me to do so. I got to do something because I can't just be, because I'm not okay as I am. So I got to do something. I got to distract myself. I got to, whatever it is, the next big thing. But no, actually, no, I want to be able to sit down, be with myself, be with whatever it is that comes up, and to see that as the hand of God in my life as well, helping to purify my heart. So,
It's beautiful, Vera. You went from a bus full of watermelons to God in your heart helping you uncover the gunk to make you a better person.
You just summarized it right there. From watermelons to clearing the gunk out of the heart. That is it right there. That's it. Yeah. And you know what? And I'm taking it as a sign, because I saw another watermelon bus drive by just not, it may be time for like a watermelon fast. I'm just, maybe, I'm not sure. I'll check in with my teachers and, see what they think about it, but maybe time.
You pray, see, that's what God is. I prayed and God told me watermelon.
Yeah, clear the gunk out, right? Take some time to control, let the tongue become a little more simplified, let the mind become a little more simplified.
Clear the heart and clear your colon.
Yeah. Yeah, let's clear out the gunk.
Yeah.
Got gunk in my trunk.
God. Come on.
I gotta open up my trunk and clear out the gunk.
Come on, Vera. Oh man. Krishna. Oh Krishna,
Mhm.
Krishna, Krishna. Oh man. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing so much about thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. I think that that kind of reflection demonstrates the sincerity we need for Krishna to respond. You know, Krishna very much responds to our sincerity. You know, you're talking about
Mhm.
that if we were asking Krishna to sort of just plug us into the source or to unkink the hose, he kind of needs to see us searching for that energy source and needs to see us really struggling to unclamp it, you know? And so
Mm.
sometimes it seems that we're trying so hard at life, but it's not working. That's okay. It's not supposed to work because we're not able to do it on our own. But through endeavoring to do it, Krishna sees the struggle and then he responds to that as a sign of our sincerity. And then he actually does the work. He doesn't do the work, but he actually makes it happen. And then when it actually we do have a breakthrough, we know that it ain't me, you know.
Mhm.
It's not that when we get to that place of clearing out that gunk, it's like, well, gee, you know, how'd you do it? Well, I worked really, really hard, picked myself up on my bootstraps, and I made it happen. It's like, you know, I
Mhm.
tried so hard, and I recognize how helpless and powerless I was. Not helpless, but how powerless I was, and I felt God intervene in my life, and
Mhm.
through God's partnership, I was able to make a breakthrough.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. It's like every opportunity in life is that, right? It's like, am I inviting God into partnership, or am I
Hmm.
forgetting that? And every single moment of our life is that, it's that opportunity. It's like, oh, that feeling is coming up, or oh,
Hmm.
those thoughts are coming up, and now I'm distracted. It's like, oh yeah, oh, every one of those things is a catalyst, either for us to remember God and invite God back into our life, or to forget God and to go down that route of trying to enjoy separately and figure it out separately, and
Hmm.
that God, because love is at the basis of our relationship, it's not forced. It's not
Yeah.
that we're just robots that are programmed to think of
Hmm.
God and love God and remember our source, and no, that it's free will. Every one of us has that, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of all of the challenges that we may face in our life. The beauty of them is that we have the opportunity to transcend them. We have the opportunity to put God before us again, and then immediately when we're genuinely entering into that consciousness, it makes sense.
Hmm.
We see it in the lives of people who experience far greater tragedy than I may ever experience in this life. We see that they genuinely have that experience of going through such material struggle, challenge, difficulty, and coming out the other side, having been touched by God, having been touched by the hand of God, their hearts been touched by God, touched by a devotee of God, and that everything, all the suffering, all the challenges, every step that was leading to that moment, all immediately just, it makes sense. and
Hmm.
and so that's what we're seeking out, and we can experience that in the moment to moment. And that's Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. It's a state of consciousness. Eventually it's a moment to moment state of consciousness that we're in.
Hmm.
That's great. Like Bhakti Louis was saying right when we were talking in the beginning, is that it's gradually developed. It's just we're just maybe I remember God like 3 times a day right now. Maybe I remember every 8 hours. I remember. And then okay, maybe every 6 hours, every 4 hours, every 2, 1. It's like put those reminders on the phone or whatever we've got to do. Like create the cues. We're creating a new habit of like everything that
Hmm.
I see in my life and everything that I feel and everything to cue like the habit of remembering God, of inviting God into our life, and
Yeah.
what's the reward of that? The reward
Hmm.
of our life taking the greatest shape of meaning and purpose that it could possibly take,
Hmm.
to be able to restructure. Now when I look into the world, it's like now I look into the world and it cues me to forget. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, gotta shift the cue, and shift that habit. Now I look into the world. No, okay, through spiritual wisdom, that that every living being, every particle of energy on this planet is all coming from the same source. And then with that consciousness, I can remember God a little bit more every time I open my eyes, ears, and experience the world.
Beautiful, Vera. Thank you so much, as always, for sharing all of your beautiful thoughts. So grateful, so appreciative. Love hearing you speak, love hearing you share your thoughts. Love seeing all these beautiful souls joining us every day, live on Zoom, live on Facebook. Thank you so much for being with us. And we look forward to being with you guys all again. Thank you for all the comments that have been flowing in, both on Facebook as well as on Zoom. We look forward to seeing you guys every day, and we look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, live, or you can check out all our recordings on all your podcast platforms. And we look forward to seeing you every day, all day. Love you guys so much.
Have a beautiful day. Hari Hari.
Okay, well.